Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Focus. We're very fortunate this morning to have with us an exemplary person, Mrs. Belinda Ingram Turner, and most people call her at the high school as Coach Turner. She's a former physical education and health teacher at the Waukegan Public School System, grades elementary, middle school, and high school. As a matter of fact, it's probably 35 years.
Yes.
There. Good morning, Mrs. Ingram.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Dr. Brooks.
We're very fortunate to have you here and happy that you took time from your very busy schedule during your retirement years to be with us on Community Focus. I like to say this, though. I interviewed your pastor, Paul Young, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Waukegan a few weeks ago, and he's going to be a guest on Community Forum, my TV show, as a matter of fact, tomorrow.
Great.
And that's where I saw you at the church. I came to one of the programs. As a matter of fact, they had me as one of the speakers, I guess.
Yes, you were. And you did an outstanding job.
Thank you. So now I'm at the other end. Now I got you at the forefront. And I can reflect, and you reminded me the year was 1998 that your daughter received the Brooks Foundation Scholarship.
She certainly did.
And you're going to be telling us about her as we go along in the program. But first of all, the audience want to hear you and not me. So I will be learning about you right along with my audience. Tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background. I know you can't tell it all, but
I'll be right to the point. 35 years of serving in the Waukegan Public School District. The majority of that time was spent at Jefferson Middle School, some of it at Lyon Magnet, and at Waukegan High School, Brookside Campus. At that time, we referred to it as West Campus.
Okay.
My areas were physical education, which I love. I also taught dance classes. I coached, particularly in the middle school, mostly all the sports, a love for basketball and co-ed track. At the high school, I assisted in coaching gymnastics, also dance and pom-poms during the football season. I taught health classes in the middle school, and I was at Lyon Magnet for about a year as well, basically in physical education. My love is for movement. Simply love to do creative movement. I discovered that at a young age, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. If I was to talk a little bit about how I decided or when to become a physical education teacher.
Okay.
I learned at an early age, around 11 or 12, that you can either be a positive influence, and I had plenty of that, or a negative influence. And I purposed in my mind and heart to be a positive influence. I wanted to have a positive impact on people around me. I also, again, love creative movement, so I knew I loved to dance. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't mean like drop it like it's hot at the latest spot. I'm talking about theatrical dance. So at 11, which is old to start as a dancer, my parents were able to send me to a small dance studio. So I took contemporary dance classes, ballet dance classes, and I also am a proud graduate of Proviso East High School in Maywood, Illinois, home of the Pirates.
Okay.
All right. And they had an excellent physical ed and dance program and outstanding PE teachers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in being involved in athletics during and after school, ran track as well, and dance company, and combining those creative movements, what better area to go into than physical education? Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is fantastic. What did you like best about being a teacher?
Okay. So many things. Most of all, the coaching.
Okay.
I simply love, I found out from listening to my student athletes that I had the ability to get them motivated, to inspire. Sometimes you constantly live and learn. And some things you might know about yourself, and there are things you learn along the way. and having them say things like, well, we know you're going to say something good. I'm like, isn't that a good thing?
Okay.
Are you complaining about that? Of course. I want to get you motivated, let you know what you do well, let you know what you need to work on. There is definitely power in the tongue. You can speak negativity into lives. You can speak positiveness into lives of adults as well as young people. We were able to motivate ourselves, and then therefore the energy flows. Then you motivate others. So in coaching, also as a teacher, people sometimes forget about the staff and the teachers. And I found such pleasure in being able to work with and hopefully inspire coworkers, younger teachers coming in, as well as teachers that were my peers or even administration. Teachers have to be uplifted. Teachers have to be even prayed for. Teachers want to be listened to and know that their voices count. We often say they make a difference. We need to hear that more. I say we because forever a teacher. And I found that was one of the most important things that I could do as well. Teachers need to be prayed for. And of course, equal to that is working with my students. Physical education was, of course, the most fun, but also the health classes. I really learned that you have to be very contemporary and keep up with abreast of current things in health education. So I would challenge my students, and in teaching the students, I realized they would go home and share things with their parents. So therefore, you were touching that generation and things going on at home.
This is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're talking with Mrs. Belinda Ingram Turner, former physical education and health teacher working in public school system. As I mentioned, grades elementary, middle school, and high school for 35 years. Coach Turner, you mentioned something about parental involvement, and it's so important. It sounds like you had a lot of initiative in your life too. You knew what you wanted to be, and you worked hard, and you was an accomplished person. But tell us about the motivation, the importance of motivation of parents to these students.
First of all, parents have to believe in themselves as being a positive role model in their children's lives.
Okay.
Sometimes parents look at, this is what I did do or I didn't do in the past. And sometimes parents may think they're limited as far as what they can do present or in the future. And then you have parents that are already highly motivated. So my first thought would be believe in yourself as a parent. Focus on your positive attributes and then be able to talk to your children. There are so many missed opportunities where parents will tell you what to do.
Okay.
As opposed to sit down and have a discussion and speak with their child or their children. So the motivational factor would be believe in yourself, know what you have to say to your child is important, even if the child may not think so at the time. At some point they'll realize that. And to sit, discuss, talk, and then listen. Don't do all the talking. Listen to your child or to your children. I'm not saying let them tell you what to do. I'm saying being a listening ear so they feel comfortable and knowing that they can confide in you. And once you speak a word to them and they begin to realize, oh, mom or dad, they really do know what they're talking about, they'll be more apt to listen and to discuss and to share things with the parent. So confidence, believe in yourself, share and listen and be available. Even if you have 2 jobs or 2.5, it's very important at some point throughout the day to sit, listen, and be available. Tell your child that they can do it. Whatever it is they purpose in their mind to do, that they can do it.
We have a granddaughter that's because I have 2 grandchildren, one boy and one girl, but we talk with both of them all the way through grade school about what they wanted to be professionally. They both were honor students, but we gave them the opportunity to choose their own profession by their backgrounds and so forth. We even gave my granddaughter, she just graduated in June at 17, gave her the opportunity we visited different colleges, and she chose the college she wanted to go to. She went to Michigan State, and she said, well, some things she didn't like about that, but when she got to Howard University in D.C., then that was the one that she chose. So she had her occupation was this nursing profession. She chose that, and she also chose the college, and she's doing very well initially. Great. Of course, grandparents had to assist with the financial. She didn't have that problem. Although, even though she received a $90,000 4-year scholarship, you'd be surprised at the additional assistance we had to provide. I say $90,000, that should be but spread over 4 years. So, but that's the type of thing like I say, the grandparents, we have to get involved also in their children. So it's very important for not only parental involvement, but also grandparent involvement also. Right? Okay, so that's what we talk about, what families can do for children to succeed. And I'm really concerned about that because I guess we have data that shows that, and I may just share that just a minute here, black males in Illinois college student population, there's only 3.7% of the student body of black males in Illinois, but black males are 58% of the average Illinois prison population. Now that's a big difference, and I like to share it with you, and you maybe want to address that later. But youth role models are so important, and I guess you have data showing how important that is, right?
Okay. What I found in teaching, particularly middle school, in my health classes, I did a written project for the students, or rather, I gave them a written project.
Okay.
And it was more or less a journal called Me, Myself, and I. So it's all about you, is what I would tell them. And in the writing assignment, there were various questions. One of them was, who is your role model?
Okay.
And what would you do if you were able to spend a day with that role model? Mm-hmm. Whom do you think, Dr. Brooks, they would pick, or what type of position of that person? Who do you think the youth of today would possibly pick as their most outstanding or impressive role model?
I'll say probably athletics.
A lot of adults in the generation, say, for example, in their 40s, 50s, and 60s on up, that is the answer that many give. Mm-hmm. They think athletics are entertainment. And I'd say about 98% of those 11 and 12 and 13-year-olds picked their mom and their dad.
Mm.
Some went on to pick their older brother and sister. Consistently, it was someone in their family.
Okay.
Now, say the other 2 or 3%, it was either a soccer star or basketball or entertainment. Mm-hmm. But the overwhelming majority, it was all about the family and the people closest to them that they watched every day. So the impact of family and community cannot be spoken about more. It is the most important impact on young people's lives, the role model of parents and those that are parenting, including grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about family structure, if I can here.
Mm-hmm.
When I say parents and grandparents, that's the so-called traditional family.
Okay.
But in current society, the family structure has changed.
Mm.
You have, according to the latest stats, about 74 to 76% of our youth are parented by one person, a single parent.
Okay.
And that single parent is not always mom. In many cases, it is just dad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also in the family structure, as you know, we have a lot more grandparents parenting.
Okay.
And not with the assistance of their children, but the sole guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of young people that have foster parents, or fortunately, however one wants to look at it, as their guardian. There are young people that are simply living from house to house wherever they can, with friends, with uncles, with aunts, with older brothers and sisters. You also have the blended family. Obviously, people that were married before, divorced, and remarried. So now they have a larger family where they have to get to know each other as brothers and sisters when the parents come in with their own children, okay, combining their families. And you also have homosexual couples in various states that are marrying, adopting children, foster parenting, and that are parents. So you have an array of family structures that are quite different, perhaps, from the past. And it creates a lot of challenges for the parents, a lot of complications sometimes, and challenges for the youth as well.
Well, tell us about another situation. It may be unique, it may not be, but the young lady that's a gymnastic champ in the Olympics. She was transparent from her family, let her go to another family to train. And I forget her name now. I should know her name, but a young lady, and it worked out perfect. But I was wondering about the adjustment that would be made, and she made an outstanding adjustment.
Yes, she did.
The great family that she went with of another background.
Which shows what motivation will do, what determination will do, and role models will do, which must have been her parents, and trust.
Yes.
So that value she had from home transferred to another environment. She was already set in a pattern. It wasn't, she wasn't learning that as she went along. She was set, bound, and determined. So once that was placed into another environment, so to speak, her ethics, her values, everything was already set. So she was ready to rock and roll, so to speak, from there. So whomever was her present person that was role modeling for her, because it changes throughout life, it simply added on to what she already knew, I think, and she was able to grow from there.
And that was fantastic. Only, about 17 years old, I guess, right?
Outstanding.
Yes. Olympic champ, yeah.
Yes.
I would like to talk about another young lady that's a psychologist now. She's graduated from Tots and Toddlers Daycare Center, and you reminded me of the year. It was 1998. But tell us about that young lady.
You're speaking about my daughter. Her name is Belinda Turner.
Okay.
And we were blessed to get a scholarship from Brooks Scholarship. And what's important about that is to know where to go for your scholarships.
Okay.
And I cannot impress upon high school students, sometimes parents are there to support, but you have to have your own initiative and be accountable for self, to look as soon as you get into your high school. Don't wait until you're a junior. It's not too late, though, or a senior, to go into wherever, be it counselor or whatever resource office is available, to find out where are those college applications for financial aid. They are somewhere, hopefully not buried in a drawer somewhere, but it takes initiative to find out, particularly from your counselor, from various teachers, where are those applications for grants, which is money granted to you that you don't have to pay back, scholarships, where are they? Once you find out where those applications are, you get yourself there, you start reading through what's necessary to do to make yourself one that can qualify for it. And there's money there, even within the school, within the high school. There are principal scholarships. I'm hoping they still exist. There are various organizations throughout the community, civic organizations that offer scholarships, sororities, fraternities, churches. Whatever your background is, you simply, so to speak, Google yourself and you put in the things that you like, the things that you are about, and it will come up with, particularly Kaplan is a website, Kaplan, that deals with scholarships, ACT testing, and so on. And once you more or less create and present information about yourself, it can tell you what scholarships are available to you. Say, be it you're an athlete, drama, artist, singing, whatever the case may be. A profile is what I think I have in mind to say. So therefore, you'll realize this is available, that's available. And you ask, wherever you, be it in stores, you'll be surprised what various stores offer scholarships.
Yeah, hopefully
General retail stores.
Right. Hopefully in the near future, we're going to have Chantel as a guest. I'll probably have to have a telephonic interview with her to let her. But just a little few comments about her. Tell us about what she's doing.
Okay. Chantel actually grew up through church schools, Seventh-day Adventist church schools.
Okay.
The majority of her time was spent from pre-K through elementary for the most part in church schools.
Okay.
And there was a period of time where she attended Waukegan West High School.
Okay.
And from there went on to college at a church school in Huntsville, Alabama, Oakwood College.
Okay.
And on to Andrews University with her graduate degree. And then her next degree is called an EDS degree, which enabled her to practice being a psychologist, educational psychologist. She practiced for a while in Michigan in the public school system.
Okay.
And currently she is in the area of Raleigh-Durham and a public school psychologist or education psychologist.
Oh, this is fantastic. Fantastic. I was happy, even though she went to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, that she was received a scholarship through the, I guess, Waukegan High School, right?
There too, as well as yourself.
You're right.
Yes,
right,
as
right.
well as various sororities. And then, of course, educational background. The grades were high enough to get academic scholarships as well.
Speaking of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, like I mentioned, I will be interviewing your pastor who recently got to the church, Pastor Paul Young. He sat in the same chair you sitting there a few weeks ago at the radio, and we're going to have a TV interview with him tomorrow, as a matter of fact, at the TV studio. But tell us, what encouraged you to get involved with the Seventh-day Adventist Church? I know that there are 3,000 denominations in the world, but Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes. As a matter of fact, while working in the public school system, I met a young lady that was a teacher in what was called BD, behavioral disorders. Okay. And in her classroom, she would have various things posted on your bulletin boards and so on. And people thought it was crisis, like you're in a crisis. Okay. Information. But it was more or less Christ, our Savior Christ, Christ intervention. It was basically thought that some of the teachings was simply general etiquette and behavior, which it was. But at the same time, it was about more or less commandments on how to treat one another, how to behave. So interjected in that curriculum was about especially religion, but at the same time was about how to behave, how to treat your fellow man. I would go to her classes from time to time during breaks and sit in and listen, and I was impressed with the way she dealt with discipline. Not in the way that most people would think, but in a loving, respectful, kind way. I never saw her get so baffled or so out of sorts, out of control. Of course, we are human and we may get angry, but she never showed it. And we're talking about behavior disorder, challenges of children that were in the classroom because of behavior that was blocking their ability to learn because they would act out. She showed love. She demonstrated. She backed up what she said. She was consistent. She was fair. And I was like, how does this woman have this mannerism about herself, so composed? So it drew attention. So from time to time during lunch, we would sit together. And then I started observing what she's eating. You never know who's watching you. Right. And I saw that she was eating very healthy foods, particularly not meat nor dairy products or the soft drinks or a lot of sugar. So I would just question her about, why are you eating that? And how do you make that? And she would answer my questions, and pretty soon she started asking me, well, you have these questions, how about Bible study? I'm like, sure, right. And she said, I can put some of these lessons in your mailbox. If you choose to, with permission, you can put it in the mailbox. I'm like, go right ahead.
Okay.
And she did, and I would simply overlook them for a period of time. And eventually I started paying attention and had more conversations with her. She invited me to her home. This was for a cooking lesson, supposedly.
Yeah, okay.
Because I wanted to learn how to apply some of the things she was telling me.
Okay.
Now, my background in physical education and health, I was already into fitness.
Right.
I was already into health and how to eat healthy. I had practiced being a vegetarian for a while. Okay. And now seeing that she was one, she invited me into her home, showed me some of the vegetarian meals, how to cook them and so on.
Okay.
She never mentioned what church.
Oh.
And she never mentioned she was a pastor's wife.
Okay.
She did not go around talking and emphasizing that. It was simply about just watching her behavior as a human being and as an individual. As we are going through the cooking class in her kitchen, in walks a man, and she introduces him as Pastor Smith, my husband. I didn't know. And the relationship grew from there. The Bible studies grew from there, particularly what's called health and temperance, how to maintain health, 8 principles of health to prevent sickness, to prevent disease, simple things like being outside. I love outdoors.
Okay,
Being in the
right,
sunshine.
right,
Who
right.
does not like being in the sunshine? Breathing in fresh air, drinking adequate water throughout the day. Things that your doctors may tell you, but these are things that were taught in our health ministries that really spoke to me and drew me in. And the focus on education and parenting. Simply everyday life. And it was about lifestyle, not going to church whatever day you may go.
Okay.
And that's the end of it.
Okay.
It was simply about reading the Bible for yourself, understanding. Of course, you had teachers to guide, and living it day-to-day lifestyle. And that was what was most impressive. I saw her doing that, not just talking about it or preaching about it.
Yeah, we say church, but church is only a building.
Exactly.
You know, it's what you do outside the building what counts. You know, we had a situation in Haiti, the earthquake about 3 years ago, and the overflow of people because of their heart was touched, and they, contribute to the Haitian situation or the Katrina situation. So it's outside the church.
Yes.
Matter of fact, the scripture speaks about that. To leave Jerusalem, go into the Judea and the uttermost parts of the earth, but. So we have to have community involvement, but I'm wondering, time is, fleeing now, but why we have so much apathy in the community now? And this affects the children too.
I believe, from my perspective, I believe people do care. People want to be active.
Okay.
I think perhaps we may judge or misjudge. People need to feel empowered. Currently, I believe people are simply so challenged by the economic situation that it's taking all their energy up with simply making a living from day to day. Many folks have lost their homes, that own homes.
Okay.
And it's a struggle where they're going to live. Keeping a roof over one's head, feeding their children. Those that do work may work long hours. So I'm saying their energy is being directed for survival.
Okay, our time has really gone. We're going to have to do a part 2 soon. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Miss Belinda Ingram Turner, known as Coach Turner, former physical education and health teacher, Waukegan Public School System. We hope that you have been challenged by the information that she has promulgated to you today. This has been Community Focus. My name is Dr. Wandell Brooks Sr.